What's up, everyone? Welcome to my channel. My name is Rachel and this is Book to Thrill. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you're new here, thanks for joining us. For today's video, I have something kind of exciting to do for the month of August. I have kind of been in a book slump lately, so I've been needing kind of different ideas on to kind of get myself out of that slump and kind of more motivated and encouraged to read. With the whole stress of booktube and 𝓬𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪, I've kind of found that reading's been more of a chore than something that I'm excited about. So I've been seeing on booktube, there's these different TBR games. For instance, if you want to check out Cody's Bookcase or Sid's Bookworm, that's where I kind of integrated some of my ideas for today's video from. I'll have their links below if you want to check them out. They're great videos and they have great content on there for their other films as well. So be sure to check them out. Basically, so I'm gonna go over the rules of my game. It is gonna be spin the bottle with my own little twist in it. And yeah, that's basically it. So let's get into it. All right, so this here is my TBR wheel. I have different sections that are going to be for different prompts. My solid colors here are gonna be my more basic prompts, which are gonna be stuff like mood read, or call a friend, or a book ending with an odd page number. So those are gonna be on my color prompts. On my darker glittery prompts, my black glitter prompts, those are going to be considered my dark reads. So those are going to contain prompts on them that I don't necessarily want to do, such as classics or +1 spin for the month. So to kind of branch off of this, I'm going to give myself 4 spins. So that automatically guarantees I have to read up to 4 books in a month, which I generally do. But if I were to get +1 spin, then I would have to read 5 books in that month. Well, at least I would get to choose it, right? Another prompt would be like a book that's 400 pages and up. I don't really read anything over 4 pages on a normal basis, so that's not something I would probably be excited to do, since I'm gonna be giving myself a lot more pressure on reading books. For my striped prompts here, they are gonna be kind of like my more fun mixed up type of prompts. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but basically they're gonna be different. Like, they're not gonna necessarily be good, but they can be good and they can be bad. They more range on the positive side of things. So for instance, one of the prompts here is -1 dark read. So let's say next month, it's -1 dark read for next month's TBR. So let's say I get a dark read on my next month. Then I can use this prompt and not have to read that book any longer. So this is potentially like a get out of jail free card, which I would probably really like a lot. Another one I have on here would be the honey challenge. So on a honey challenge, my boyfriend John and I will be doing kind of like, he will set up a challenge for me to do. And if I win, then I can pretty much pick the book that I want to read for that month. And then if I lose, then I'll probably have to do something that I don't want to do, as well as he gets to choose my book, which I don't know. He might be nice, he might not, so I guess we'll find out. And also, if I land on any of the solid colors up to 3 times, then I have to add another spin to my wheel. So potentially I can have a lot of books in my TBR than just the 4 that I'm gonna go ahead and guarantee myself. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums things up. Basically, if I fail to read all the books that are in my upcoming TBR, then they are gonna roll over to my next month's TBR. So that's definitely gonna give me a motivation and push to read my TBR picks. That way I don't have to read them for the next month. Otherwise I can really potentially ruin myself. So with that said, let's get into the game. Alright guys, so here's my little setup. Right here are my basic prompts for my solid colored sections. This one here is my dark reads, and this one is my striped reads. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle them up, and then we're going to layer them out onto the board accordingly. Alright, so now that I have all my solid color sections filled, I'm going to move on to my dark reads. I'm going to do the same thing, shuffle them up and put them on here. Okay, and then my little striped read. Alright, so my board is fully colored with prompts. I'm going to go ahead and start the game. Alright, an intimidating read. So now I'm just gonna put another prompt here to fill that spot in, and let's go again. A forgotten author. Oop, gotta fill in the spots. Oh god, guys. 2 already on this one. A thrifted read. So I have 2 on my red so far. So if I land on this again, I'm gonna have to add another spin at the end of my overall spins. And this rolls on to each month. So next month, if I land on red, I'm guaranteed to already have another spin. Oh, that was close, but not necessarily a good thing because now I got a dark read. So let's see what's on this prompt. Historical fiction. Oh, fun. God, I don't even know what I'm gonna choose for this. Alright guys, those were my 4 spins, and that's exciting. Wait, did I? Well, good thing I didn't land on that because I didn't even have a prompt on there. I forgot to put a prompt. But yeah, those were my 4 spins, so I guess let's look at the books that I'm gonna be reading. Alright, intimidating. This book is probably also one of my most anticipated reads. I have struggled picking it up because there's been such hype about it that I'm scared it's gonna disappoint me, and I'm really interested in reading it, and I've just been putting it off for a few months now, but I think it's time for me to pick it up. But it's The Silent Patient by Alex 𝓬𝓸𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬𝓬 I did purchase it in my book haul. Don't know if you watched that video. If you have, yeah, it's in there. But basically it's about this woman who kills her husband, and she is put into an insane asylum, and a behavioral analyst is basically interviewing her, trying to figure out why she ended up killing her husband, because since she killed her husband, she's gone silent. She hasn't spoken one word. So basically that's that book, The Silent Patient, my intimidating read. I'm excited about jumping into that. All right, guys, so I got Forgotten Author. So basically for this one, I'm gonna choose a book that I haven't read since high school, because I've been kind of wanting to get back into it. I just haven't really got around to it. There's just so many books on my TBR that since I already read it, I kind of didn't want to. It just hasn't been a priority. But this kind of gives me the motivation to do it. I haven't finished the series yet, so that's why I kind of want to restart it. So for that, I'm going to pick 𝓸𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪 by 𝓬𝓱𝓪𝓽. It is a fantasy, and I haven't read fantasy since high school. So this is gonna be definitely a change of pace for me. It's gonna switch things up for sure. And I'm kind of really excited about it. But yeah, can't wait. Because I know there's like so many different books that have been added to the series, so I really need to get on top of things here. So 𝓸𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪, guys, for my Forgotten Author. And we got thrifted. So I've started a new thing in my life where I've gone to thrift stores to find books, and that is extremely overwhelming. But I watched a lot of other booktubers such as iCarly, and they have really recommended this book here that I did find at a Goodwill, actually on my first book thrift haul. So it is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. I have seen the movie, but I haven't read the book, which, you know, as always, the book is always better than the movie. So I'm excited to read this. It's not too long, so I can do this. I can do this. Basically, Pom Boy can count on his brothers and on his friends, but not much on else besides trouble with the socks. A vicious gang of rich kids whose idea of a good time is beating up greasers like Pony Boy. At least he knows what to expect until the night someone takes things too far. That's just a brief synopsis of this book, and the event that you guys haven't heard of it before. Yeah, I'm excited about that. All right, guys, historical fiction. So for this, I actually had to step away and Google historical fiction books, since they aren't generally my typical read, as it was on the dark spot that, of course, I were to spend on my first TBR game. I actually had to Google it, and well, you know, Google never lies, so here we go. So I was actually able to find a book that was on my TBR, and that came up as a historical fiction on Chrome, which is 𝓬𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪𝓵 by 𝓸𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪𝓵. I heard that this book is really good. There are a lot of mixed reviews on it though, so I'm a little nervous about reading it as well, but for a brief synopsis in case you guys haven't heard of it before, which I'm sure you have, it's pretty popular. But basically it's about a girl. And I'll just read the synopsis. For years, rumors of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet town on the North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home. Then the time comes when she yearns to be touched and loved. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. 𝓬𝓸𝓵𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪 is at once an exquisite ode to the natural world, a heartbreaking coming-of-age story, and a surprisingly tale of possible murder. Owens reminds us that we are forever shaped by the children we once are, and that we are all subject to the beautiful and violent secrets that nature keeps. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, 𝓬𝓸𝓵𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪 is going to be my historical fiction pick. Alright guys, well I think that pretty much sums it up for today with my Spin the Bottle TBR Edition 1, Episode 1, whatever you want to call it. I enjoyed playing, it was super fun to do. I'm not too disappointed with the books that I got chosen for, especially since my dark read and ended up being able to be pulled from my TBR pile, so lucky me there. Google had my back. So here's my little stack. It is little, but I do have other books in my TBR, so be sure to check it out at the end of this month for my August wrap up, which I will be posting up once the end of the month comes. We got City of Bones by Cassandra Clare for my forgotten author. I got The Silent Patient for my intimidating read by Alex Michaelides, and S.E. Hinton's The Outsiders for my thrifted read, and my wonderful historical fiction 𝓬𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪𝓵 by 𝓸𝓸𝓬𝓬𝓲𝓪. Super excited about all these books. I will be doing a wrap up, like I said, at the end of August. That includes my other TBR reads for the month, as well as from my TBR board. Again, if I don't end up finishing any of these books, they will have to roll over onto my next month's TBR. So stay tuned for next month. I'm sure there's going to be more exciting things done. This month wasn't too bad, but you know, that's not always the case. Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you next time.